Hi guys, welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to work on some potato chip chocolate chip cookies. What do we have? We've got 2 sticks of butter. I use unsalted butter. I've got 2 eggs. I've got half a cup of sugar here, 3/4 cup of packed brown sugar. I've got a little bit of sea salt, baking powder, baking soda, and then 3 cups of flour. We've got 10 ounces of chocolate chunks and 2 cups worth of crunched up stale potato chips. Also, we need a vanilla bean. I didn't have a vanilla bean, but I had vanilla bean paste, so I'm using the vanilla bean paste in here. I'm using about a teaspoon. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our soft butter and put that into our mixer. And we're going to put that, we're going to go ahead and turn it up and get it nice and fluffy. Make sure it's nice and creamy. Should get pretty white, a pale white color. And we'll do that about 2 minutes. So I went ahead and I actually had the butter sitting out for since yesterday. So, alright, so it's nice and fluffy here. So I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to scrape down the bowl, and I'm going to add in the sugar. So I'm going to add in the white sugar, and we're going to add in the brown sugar. And we'll turn that back up. Start it off slow because I don't want to turn it up high because then I'll throw everything out of the bowl. Now we're going to let this get completely emulsified into the butter. And once again, we want to get it nice and fluffy. Okay, so I'm going to scrape down the sides on this. And clean off the paddle. So you can see, using the paddle in here. Alright, so we're going to add in our eggs. Just pour those in, 2 large eggs. And then I like to use the spatula to make sure I get all my vanilla bean paste out. You can find that at some of the specialty cooking stores. It's a nice product to use if you don't have the vanilla beans. It saves a little time. Okay, so we'll raise this back up. I'm going to let that go for just a second. So here, I've got my sugar, or my salt, my baking soda and baking powder. I'm going to mix those together here. Mix the dry ingredients together into my bowl. So I'm going to scrape down the bowl one more time, just to get everything off the edges. Then I'm going to turn it on low, and I'm going to start adding in my flour. And just let that get incorporated. I could add it all at one time, but I just want to make sure that it has plenty of time to grab all the different mix of all the flour and the butter, and it's combined. So now we have a nice smooth mixture. You can see how that's a nice smooth mixture here. It's all combined. So we've got I've got my chocolate chips. Alright, so now I'm going to add my chocolate chips into here. I'm going to turn it on low. I'm going to raise it up. Add the chocolate chips in there. Add the potato chips in there. It's incorporated. Turn it off, because if you mix it too much, then the potato chips will turn into dust, and you don't want that because you're looking for the texture of the potato chips in there. So now, we're going to take our dough. And I've got a baking sheet with a silpat on there. If you're not familiar with a silpat, it's just it's a silicone heat-proof or silicone sheet that I can use and bake on, and I don't have to worry about things burning, and I can reuse that as opposed to using parchment paper. All right, so now we've got all of our dough, and I'm going to take this dough and make sure everything's mixed up in here. And I'm going to pat it out onto my sheet and make about a 2-inch thick rectangle out of this. It's got the chocolate chunks in there. We'll make probably 12 cookies out of this, or you can make smaller ones. So I've got my rectangle. Now, you could bake this right now, but I believe the texture will be better. So we're going to put this in the refrigerator overnight, and we'll finish this actually tomorrow, and we'll come back and start right here. So this is going to get wrapped up, put in the refrigerator, and we'll cut it and bake it tomorrow. All right, well, I'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay, so we chilled the dough, and I went ahead and cut it into 12 squares. And then just to do something a little different, I cut some of those into triangles. So we're going to take some of our squares here, which looks like a pretty decent sized cookie. You could certainly make it smaller, but I'm going to try according to the recipe on this one. Wow, these are jumbos. We'll see how it works. And then I did cut some into the smaller portions So I'm putting all these onto a Silpat sheet, and we're going to bake them off, and we'll see how they come out. Alright, so our cookies came out. Oven was 375 degrees. The smaller cookies, where I cut the 12 into half, one of the larger pieces I cut it in half, baked those off for 18 minutes. I rotated them halfway through. The larger cookies, we baked those off full 20 minutes. And you can see the inside is still nice and creamy. The chocolate is melted and oozing, so I think we're about to get some milk and enjoy some of these. Hope you enjoy them. Thanks.